In late December of last year, I predicted that in 2012 it would be one of the most competitive years in global motorsports that we'd ever seen. And I was right. Why? I watched the weather. It affected all three major motorsport series and their ability to test properly. NASCAR, Formula One, and IndyCar all had challenges. But what are some of the top stories going into the second half? I'm Michele Rahal with Motorsports Unplugged and motorsportsunplugged.com. In no particular order, here are my picks for the top stories from all three series up to this point. A.J. Allmendinger. As everybody in motorsports knows, he failed a random drug test just before the Coke Zero 400 in Daytona, and as of today has failed the B sample. He's out until he conforms to NASCAR's rehabilitation rules. Well, that news is rifled through the NASCAR garages, the IndyCar garages, and to some degree the Formula One teams. Everybody wants to know what happened. Why? Because they're afraid it could happen to them if the substance found was a legal supplement. We may never know what the substance was, only AJ can legally state it. Everybody's waiting to hear. IndyCar introduced a new car, the DW12, a really different looking car, but could it perform? The answer is yes. It's roughly 2 seconds a lap faster than the old Dallara on road courses, and when you couple that with a new competition director, Bo Barfield, IndyCar seems to be having a resurgence. At Edmonton last week, the top 23 cars were within a second of each other. With the points race this tight, IndyCar looks to be moving upward again, and it can't be a moment too soon. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been the most criticized and popular driver in NASCAR. This season, he's proving that he's lost nothing, running second in the points to Matt Kenseth, who incredibly put Roush on notice that he's leaving for a yet-to-be-named team. Kenseth's been with Roush for years, and sometimes those relationships just have a way of ending. Earnhardt is impressive, but he and Kenseth need wins. That's what counts when the points are reset. Fernando Alonso, he is proving to Ferrari that he's worth the $40 million base salary he's being paid. Formula One had virtually every test they ran over the winter rained out. None of the teams were able to gather the data they needed to run away from each other. The Ferrari looked like and was a dog. Each race turned into a development for these multi-million-dollar teams, and Ferrari took advantage of the in-season testing in Italy and Spain to introduce what can only be called a new car. It worked, but it didn't give them a runaway winner. Alonso drove like a man possessed, and he turned a losing season into a drive to win his third championship. This is the most competitive Formula One season I've ever seen. There was a time, and it was not too long ago, that Michael Waltrip Racing would be the last team anyone would have thought of challenging for a spot in the Sprint Cup chase. Well, surprise, they've let everyone know they're for real. Formula One top dog Bernie Ecclestone has found himself wrapped up in an international bribery scandal, one that has his absurdly posh motorhome at Hockenheim last weekend. But no Bernie. He didn't show up. Why? The German government wants to arrest him. Will they? Well, who knows? He bribed a banker on a racing deal to the tune of millions, and that banker is in jail. Is Bernie hiding? It'd be easy. He's only 5 feet tall. NASCAR. NASCAR has never been more competitive than they are right now. But when they hit the 1.5-mile tracks and up, they can't get near each other because of the aerodynamics. NASCAR is now looking at taking the downforce off of these cars, giving more control back to the drivers. You can thank Carl Edwards for that, by the way. That's just a short on what's going on so far. Next week we'll dig even deeper. But the real story of the week, day, or the year so far, it's A.J. Allmendinger. I'm Michele Rahal with Motorsports Unplugged. I'll see you next week.